And my goal is to leave us in the best position as possible to continue to support our community.
Now on KGW News, County Chair Jessica Vega-Peterson unveiling her nearly $4 billion budget for Multnomah County. Now other leaders are firing back on proposed cuts. And in the face of a $50 million budget deficit, Portland parents are fighting to save Title I schools from possibly shutting down. Plus, a popular singer is in custody after a shocking murder case. What police are saying after a teen's body was found in the trunk of a car months after being reported missing. And first at noon, taking a live look at the White House, where President Donald Trump continues to insist that the end of the war with Iran is near. It comes as Iran says the Strait of Hormuz is completely open to all commercial vessels for the remainder of the Israel-Lebanon ceasefire. Thank you for joining us. I'm Tim Gordon. The 10-day ceasefire was just announced yesterday and appears to be holding. NBC's Chris Pallone has the update.
A ceasefire between Israel and Lebanon appears to be holding hours after going into effect. The pause in fighting between the Israelis and the Iran-backed militia Hezbollah seen as a key step which could lead to the end of the war between the U.S. and Iran. The agreement already appears to be producing results. Iran announcing with the ceasefire the Strait of Hormuz is now fully open. President Trump reacting on social media. Iran has just announced that the Strait of Iran is fully open and ready for full passage. Thank you. Oil prices, which shot up at the start of the war, plummeted following the announcement. Traveling out west to tout his economic record ahead of November's midterm elections, the president once again signaling an end to the war could be near.
The war in Iran is going along swimmingly. We can do whatever we want. And it should be ending pretty soon.
Earlier, the president said he's open to extending the ceasefire with Iran, set to expire Tuesday if necessary, and that a new round of negotiations with the Iranians could take place this weekend.
We're close to a deal. We're getting along very well with the new Iranian leaders.
President Trump says the U.S. blockade of Iran's ports will continue for now. With American support for the war low, the Republican-controlled House Thursday voted down a measure ordering Mr. Trump to end it now by one vote. And while President Trump wants to turn attention to the economy, his continued back-and-forth exchanges with the Pope about the war threatened to distract from that topic.
I can disagree with the Pope. I have a right to disagree. I have a right to disagree with the Pope.
Pope Leo not responding directly, but telling a group of worshipers in Africa, woe to those who manipulate religion for their own military, economic, and political gain. After last night's economic roundtable in Las Vegas, the president heads to Phoenix today for a political rally with Turning Point USA before returning to Washington late tonight. In Washington, Chris Pallone, NBC News.
All right, switching gears now and taking a live look from our Rose City Sky camera. That's pretty good looking. It's setting up to be a pretty pleasant afternoon, and Chris McGinnis is here to tell us about a pleasant trend into the weekend. Chris?
Yeah, that trend's going to get acceleration as we go into the weekend, and you'll see that in a second. But for now, the visible satellite imagery across the region is showing some broken cloud cover here over the northern Willamette Valley. Things clear out as you get down towards Salem and Corvallis in the east side of the state, south of, let's say, Maupin and down through central Oregon and out across much of southeastern Oregon. You're enjoying full sunshine today, albeit chilly. It's still quite cool out there for this time of the year. I mean, it's 50 right now in Hillsborough and Forest Grove. We'll hop over the east side. We're in the low 40s right now, Burns, Baker City, and John Day. So there's some chilly air still. The last little bit of this cool air mass is on its way out, and we've got warming weather as we go into the weekend. And sunny weather, too, at least for the first half. Here's a live look right now from the Chinook Winds Casino Resort camera in Lincoln City. It's just a beautiful day along the central Oregon coast. Currently in the upper 50s there. You'll tack on several degrees before things are done there. From the Vancouver waterfront, the Springs at the waterfront showing broken cloud cover right now over Vancouver in 52. And our Wells Fargo camera pointed to the south. The farther south you go, the more the cloud cover breaks up. So that's the way our afternoon, I think, is going to be shaping up here across the Willamette Valley with temperatures in the low 50s now. We're on our way up to about 61, so warming up to about average for this time of the year. And Tim, note the sunset. 8 p.m. I almost had to change the moon to a sun. The sun sets at 8 o'clock, and we will enjoy those 8 o'clock sunsets now for the next 4 months. We will enjoy some warmer weather as we go to the weekend. That's coming up next.
We sure will. Chris, thanks. Well, new overnight, Portland police say one person is dead after what appears to be a hit and run in northeast Portland. This happened just after 11 o'clock last night on Northeast Siskiyou Court near 148th Avenue. Officers responded to a report of a person down in the street and found the victim had already died. Police say the person appears to have been hit by a car and the driver left the scene. Anyone with information is asked to contact Portland Police. A former NBA player and assistant coach Damon Jones is expected to be the first guilty plea in a widespread gambling case. The investigation led to the arrests of more than 30 people, including Blazers head coach Chauncey Billups. Jones is accused of profiting from rigged poker games and sharing non-public injury information about star players with sports bettors. He previously pleaded not guilty, but now has a change of plea hearing set for April 28th. Billups has pleaded not guilty to the charges he's facing. He has been on unpaid leave from the Blazers since his arrest last year.
And we do our best to take a survivor full circle. So from the moment they lost their home or their dwelling to getting back in their new home.
Well, you just heard from Mark Brooks there. We first met him 5 years ago when he launched a nonprofit aimed at helping victims of Oregon's devastating wildfires. Now the Oregon Attorney General is suing Brooks, alleging he drained the Cascade Relief Team's accounts for personal use. The lawsuit claims he stole more than $800,000 in donations, using those funds on personal credit cards, loans, and bills, along with rent, child support, liquor, strip clubs, and jewelry. The organization ran out of money and laid off staff in 2023. Coming up at 12:30, hear the statement from the AG and what Brooks may be forced to give back. Well, a proposed Multnomah County budget is sparking concern today. County leaders say it would require more than $93 million in cuts to close a major funding gap. Some of the biggest impacts could hit homeless services and the district attorney's office. Corey Johnson has a closer look at what's on the table.
The county says these are difficult cuts needed to balance the budget, which now sits at about $3.9 billion, down from last year. The cuts were proposed by Multnomah County Chair Jessica Vager-Peterson. Thursday, officials say they're facing a $93.2 million gap, driven in part by lower property tax revenue. Now, the general fund, one of the county's most flexible funding sources, alone has $11.1 million shortfall. In the proposed budget, some of the largest cuts would come from homeless services, with a $67 million reduction. That could mean closing more than 600 adult shelter beds and cutting back on family shelter vouchers. The proposal also includes staff reductions, including about 166 positions across the county. At the same time, the DA's office could see roughly $2 million in cuts and would lose about 15 employees, including prosecutors. Their current budget is already facing pushback. Peterson saying nothing is final yet.
We ended up being able to lower that number greatly by the time the final budget was passed by the board. So I'm hopeful we'll be able to see a similar decrease in that.
Without resources, we just simply can't address certain things. When we've lost resources in that last budget where we were cut, we have seen those losses have direct effects in the community.
Now, the budget would also cut 9 community school programs and trim sheriff's office admin costs. County commissioners will spend the next few weeks taking public input before a final vote in June.
Here's a look at some national headlines this afternoon. Singer David, whose real name is David Burke, is in police custody in connection with the death of a teenage girl. Los Angeles police say the 21-year-old is being held without bail after the body of a 14-year-old was found in the trunk of a Tesla registered in his name. That vehicle had been impounded after reports of a foul odor coming from it. Burke's attorneys say he's only being detained under suspicion and not arrested on any charges. Well, Honda is recalling more than 440,000 minivans over a potential airbag defect. In some cases, the airbags deployed without warning, leading to injury risks. The recall impacts 2018 to 2022 Honda Odysseys. If you drive one of those vans, you're urged to bring it into a dealer for a free fix. And if you shop at Trader Joe's, you could get some money back after the chain agreed to a $7.4 million settlement. The settlement stems from a lawsuit claiming the grocery chain showed too many digits from customers' credit and debit cards on their printed receipts. The company denies any wrongdoing, but says it settled to avoid a lengthy legal fight. So if you made a purchase between March and July of 2019, you may be eligible for a payout even if you didn't experience identity theft. Customers have until June 6th to submit a claim on Trader Joe's settlement website.